You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's August 3rd, 2021. Well, I don't know about you, but if you've been to the supermarket lately, the gas station, Costco, any store, you're seeing higher prices. And technically, that is not inflation. That is loss of dollar purchasing power. Inflation, at least from a Austrian economic standpoint, is when the absolute supply of money goes up. That's inflation. But what you care about, what I care about, is how much does your dollar buy? And the answer is less and less all the time. We've got Mark Singer with us, who's going to enlighten us further on what exactly is going on. If you got a question about inflation, if you're too young to remember inflation from back in the 70s, I'd like to hear from you. The email address is kl@kerrylutz.com. Well, Mark, inflation, it looks like it's back with a vengeance. Who could be surprised? We just printed up trillions of dollars of currency units, handed them out to everybody, not just the most worthy among us, meaning the banks. And all of a sudden we have helicopter money and we have inflation. Are you as shocked as I am?
No, not at all. But I think that we have to put everything in perspective and find some historical perspective to understand how it might impact us and what it's actually going to look like. And really, it's a double-sided thing. It's a two-sided knife, if you will. On the good side, there's actually a good side to inflation. For instance, those who are collecting Social Security, in the past 40 years, cost of living increases, the COLA, have been less than 5%. As a matter of fact, in the past 15 years, it's been closer to 1%, maybe 2% on an annualized basis. Only 2 times in the last 40 years has it hit 5% or over. And it looks like, as a result of this, what they're calling transitory inflation, where GDP, gross domestic product, is up 6.5% right now, that September CPI-W, which is what cost of living is gauged against for next year's increase, will probably give Social Security benefactors a 5% or more increase for next year. That's a tremendous thing for those who are on that fixed income or relying on Social Security. Because the other side of it is, and I truly believe this, in most recessions, and we just got hit with a very short but very steep recession, we have supply chain issues. In other words, we have difficulty creating the goods and services that we demand. And because we have more demand than there is supply, then we get what is called price increases, or, if you will, inflation. And that has happened as a result of this pandemic, where we've had tremendous supply chain issues, and we're still dealing with that. I don't know if you vegetable garden recently and tried to get wood for it. There was no wood last summer. And if there was, it was at an enormous, probably 300% increase in what we were paying previously. My stepdaughter is in the midst of a major home improvement right now, and they had it all budgeted. They had the budget done like a year ago, and they came up $30,000 short because of the cost of goods as a result of the pandemic, the supply chain issues. So, but what we're seeing now, and we're already seeing in the futures prices, particularly with lumber, prices are coming down. And some of the supply chain issues are being dealt with. We won't get through it quickly. It'll probably take another year or so before it gets a a real balance. But between now and then, as a result of the gross domestic product being up, as a result of the prices skyrocketing on a number of sectors, we are seeing inflation. However, I do believe it will be on a short-term basis, and we will get back to what we've been used to over the past 10 or 15 years, which is more in the line of that 2.5% number, which is a lot less than the historical number, which has been 4 to 4.5. So, I think we all have to get through it at this point. There is an awful lot of money sitting on the sidelines right now as a result of all that money, Kerry, that you just mentioned that the government has given out to those who did or did not deserve it, however you want. My mother, who's 92 years old, she got money. I'm not exactly sure why. She wasn't unemployed. She didn't lose out on anything. She's on a fixed income, but she and her husband got money. So glad for her, but we're all going to be paying the piper as a result of that and some of the policy decisions.
Yeah, not to mention the fraud and everything else that took place that was just breathtaking, staggering, the amount of fraud that was involved in all these programs, the PPP, the extended unemployment benefits. I mean, somebody put in unemployment benefit applications for me in 2 states. One state rejected it. The other state paying them $190 a week because they fell underneath the threshold where they bother verifying anything.
Yep.
And I even sent that state, I don't want to mention them because I'm just going to have grief with them, but I even sent them in their fraud reporting system, I sent them a note that this isn't me. I'm not applying for them. Don't give them the money. And they ignored it and they did it anyway. So that's just one small example. But do you really think this is going to be that short-lived? Look what's happened with housing. Housing is a perfect example of inflation at work. All these dollars chasing less inventory because there's no foreclosures and no evictions. So the market is artificially, the size of it's artificially reduced. And we wind up, same thing with apartment rentals, because there's no evictions, there's less supply, and rental prices going up. You think that's all short-lived?
I don't think that's short-lived, to be honest with you. I think that, housing is going to be a problem for those particularly who are trying to get into the market. It's going to be a real issue. It will impact their lives because the rents are so expensive. My daughter is paying more in rent than I am for my mortgage. And that it shouldn't be that way. But that's where we are. So you may have to make some lifestyle choices if you're looking to buy a house, where to get a job. By the way, speaking of jobs, if you are in a place where you're having problems to get retrained in a new sector right now, there's 7 million job openings right now. And I think that if you're ambitious, if you really have a way to try to get ahead of the game, there's a lot of opportunities right now in this post-pandemic era. Actually has some silver linings to it. By the way, I do want to mention one thing, because you talked about the fraud, and you talked about, someone else getting benefits that they're claiming they're you. We talked about Social Security for a moment, and I think this is really, really important for your listeners. Social Security used to provide paper statements for all of us on an annual basis. Then for a number of years, they stopped that. Now, the only people that get paper statements are those who are over 60 and have yet to claim their benefits. So for the rest of us, what I want you to do, and this is really, really important, it helps to reduce significantly anybody hacking or stealing your Social Security number. If you go on www.socialsecurity.gov/my statement. That's my statement. You have to sign up. You have to go on my statement in order to sign up for your Social Security benefits. But for many of you, you're not signed up for my statement because you have no desire at this moment to sign up for Social Security. But even if you're in your 40s or your 50s, go sign up, make a claim on your own Social Security number so no one else can. I think it's really important because there is a lot of fraud out there and a lot of people who are looking to make a short buck off of you. And in this way, you can prevent it from being you as the headline.
And there is a lot of useful information on that site. I signed up for it a long time ago because I understood that you could get hacked or you could get basically get your thing taken away from you and not have access to your own account. But it's got how much you're going to get at full retirement under present payments from for myself, age 66 and 6 months, 666, interesting thing. How much at age 70, how much I would get if I retired now, which obviously I'm not doing. It'll also give you things for disability, survivors benefits, all of that stuff. So,
by the way, also, and they can go on our YouTube channel, Your Retirement Authority. That's Your Retirement Authority on YouTube. We have a number of Social Security videos. We're about to release one on the new Social Security statement. We did, our most popular video was the massive Social Security increase that we're going to see. So there's a lot of information about Social Security that even if you're not right on the precipice of taking it, is useful for you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. A lot of good information here for sure. It's weird. I paid so much money in there that for the past several years, I haven't paid any money in. And I'm still at the maximum benefit, which I guess I will be for life till I retire, probably at age 70. So, that's one thing, Mark, that people go back and forth about retire at 66 or retire at age 70. What are your thoughts there? Obviously, everybody's situation, your situation, mine, all different. But is there a rule of thumb for that?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Trilogy Metals is a world-class developer in Alaska's Ambler Mining District. The company already possesses 8 billion pounds of copper, 3 billion pounds of zinc, over 1 million gold-equivalent ounces, and now over 77 million pounds of cobalt. Trilogy's Arctic project boasts an after-tax net present value of $1.4 billion with a 33% IRR. Trilogy is led by an experienced management team with proven success in discovering and developing projects in Alaska. The company is well capitalized, has no debt, and possesses strong institutional support. Trilogy trades on the New York and Toronto exchanges under the ticker symbol TMQ. To learn more, go to trilogymetals.com. That's trilogymetals.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
There was a recent study that came out from United Income that said 96% of people take their Social Security at the wrong time. And they actually said in the study that 43% of people shouldn't wait till age 70. So it's all going to be dependent upon what your income need is, what your assets are, what income is coming in. I would certainly say, as a rule of thumb, unless there's some exigent circumstance, unless there's some health issue that you need to deal with, certainly wait at least till your full retirement age. My full retirement age is 66 and 2 months.
You're older than me.
I'm a couple of years older. But if you can afford to wait, and if it makes sense from a household income perspective, getting an automatic 8% increase on your benefits if you don't take them from your full retirement age until you reach age 70, it could be very beneficial for you. But you have to figure out, some people want to take it as early as they can. I think for most people, that's a big mistake. At age 62, they leave a lot of money on the table. They think, Social Security was going broke or I get more checks this way if I take it at 62 versus waiting at 66. The vast majority of people are making a mistake taking it at 62. Wait at least till your, full retirement age. And if you can, defer it if you can till age 70.
I totally agree. And you also have to talk to a financial planner, somebody who understands all this, because There are situations if you're divorced, you can take it earlier. If you're widowed, you might be entitled to survivor benefits, all these things. And this is money that you're entitled to. And like you said, what percentage of people take it at the wrong time? Over 40%?
No, 96% take it at the wrong time. 43% should be taking it before age 70. It all depends on your circumstance. You talk about advisors. Most people look at us as advisors. We're sort of like, we know everything we should be. They rely on us for guidance. Unfortunately, when it comes to Social Security, the vast majority of advisors are not well versed in Social Security. And I'll give you a particular story on somebody who was very, very well educated, an attorney out on the West Coast who I've spoken to a couple of times, retired a number of years ago, and he was working with an advisor. And he thought he got the right advice. And we were just chit-chatting, and it just happened to come up. And I said, well, what is your spouse doing? And he said, well, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, well, has your spouse made a claim off of your work record since she wasn't working while you were, and she was bringing up the kids? He said, no. Can she do that? Well, this is something that the advisor should have been guiding him on. He actually went back to Social Security and was able to claim some of the back payment for his spouse, but he missed out on a lot of money. This is a very well-educated person dealing with somebody that he basically delegated, guidance to with regards to his financial advisor, and did not get the right advice. Many advisors are well, versed with just, regards to money management and the like. But when it comes to retirement, Social Security, some of those things that are much more complex than just investing, that your listeners really should be with somebody who is a good fit and somebody who works specifically with retirement.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I've seen this often because I've had people on, they talk about you could switch, you could be getting disability till you're X, and then till 70, and then you switch. But if you need the money now at 62 and you have to take it, then you have to take it. But if you can put it off, then you put it off if you possibly can. But if your health is in question, and you might, because I don't remember what the break-even point is, but it's
usually 12 to 13 years.
Right. If you're planning on living till 80 or 90, you'll probably be able to make it up. But if you're not, then you won't be able to make it up, right?
Well, that was one of the conclusions of that United Income study, where they said the income of those in their mid to late 70s and beyond could rise by upwards of 25% if they made the decision at the right time to take their Social Security.
That much, huh? So what do most people do? Do they take it too early or do they take it too late?
If I were to guess, I would say more people take it too early than late. The number is somewhere around 33 to 38% of those folks who are eligible for Social Security at age 62 take it. And the vast majority of those people are making a poor choice. Again, it's not a bad choice for everyone, but for most people, it doesn't work that way. And I would say, here I am now at full retirement age. I have yet to take my Social Security. I expect to probably take it, when I hit age 70 because of my circumstances. I'm in good health. I have good assets. I'll get an 8% guaranteed increase in the income until I start taking it, plus cost of living, which most people forget about. If you are deferring your claim, you're not only going to get the 8, but you're going to get cost of living. And by the way, if cost of living goes up by 5% next year, my benefit is going to go up 8 plus 5. So it'll be going up 13%. I can't get that in the market. So it's a nice way to take a look at future income, but you really have to take a look at how it impacts your life, what your needs are, your spouse, your family, et cetera. There's not a one answer for everybody.
Yeah. And if you got a spouse who's collecting under you, I don't think they can collect until you collect. Do I have that right?
That is correct. And you made a very important point, too. because most people believe that once you put a claim in, it's a one and done, but it's not. You could switch on a handful of different occasions to make sure that you maximize the income that you get. You are eligible potentially for your own work record. You could be a spouse and get a spousal benefit. You could be a divorcee. You could be a widow. I mean, you could be eligible for 3 or 4 or 5 different claims, but you can only make one. And the one you should make should be the one that maximizes that income for you now. And you could potentially change tactics later and just reapply.
Right. So, for instance, if your spouse has retired and, you're entitled to collect under theirs, and then if you put it off and you can keep collecting, I think you collect like half under your spouse or something
Correct.
like that.
Correct. But again, if you're a spouse and you take it immediately at age 62, there's a haircut for that.
Right.
Call it the penalty phase, right? Versus waiting till your full retirement age or later on some of these claims where it becomes the bonus phase and you get more money.
Or if your spouse is taking it at the retirement age, you take your spousal benefits till you're 70, and then you can switch, I believe, to your own benefits at that
No longer.
Higher. Oh, you can't do that? They got rid of that?
Yeah, that was a nice little loophole, the restricted application. And that went away last year, unfortunately.
Or even if you're divorced, if you were married for
there you go.
years or more, then you can get divorce spousal benefits.
Right.
And defer them until whenever, I guess. So
Listen, I had lunch with a good friend of mine last year, and we were chit-chatting. He says, "Oh, yes, Social Security." I said, "Well, a friend of mine, it was a male. I said, you can collect off of your ex-spouse who was making a lot of money." He looked at me and said, "Really?" I said, "Absolutely." I found him something like, I don't know, $15,000, $18,000 on an annual basis as a result of that. And I said, "Hey, by the way, you're paying for lunch." So, but you really have to figure it all out. It's very complex, which is why we have 7 different calculators for Social Security alone to make sure that we help our clients maximize their income.
Yeah, you got to have a computer to figure this one out for sure.
Yes, you do.
But there's so many permutations.
By the way, that's a very important point that I don't want to let just go by. You can... And at some point, there will be no more Social Security offices. Everything's going to be online. They've pushed just about everything you need at this point online anyway, but you can talk to them. If you're looking for guidance or some sophisticated or advanced strategies, they are not the people you need to be talking to, because they cannot, from a legal perspective, from a liability perspective, be telling you and projecting for you based on different scenarios. You must go to your advisor in order to do that.
Yeah. So, and this is exactly why you need an advisor, just to negotiate the minefield of Social Security. Because like you said, once you pick one, you're kind of stuck. And
there's 567 different claiming strategies.
Yeah. Hard
put them all out there.
Amazing. There could be that much complexity there. And if you're 72 and you have a child, they're able to get Social Security, even if you're not retired or dead, right?
Correct.
So,
and there's family maximums. There's all sorts of things that you got to be aware of. Did you work at a organization where you did fund Social Security or you didn't fund it? How does it impact your pension? How does it impact your spouse when you die? I mean, there's so many different iterations.
Yeah, it's really complex. So you need a professional. Hey, Mark, we appreciate you coming back on. Where do we find you on the web? How do we connect with you?
You can go to Retire Now Quiz. That's www.retirenowquiz.com. Just spend 2 minutes to invest in yourself. Answer the 15 questions. We'll get you a score back at exactly how well you are prepared for retirement. I'll also get you the first chapter of my book, Don't Outlive Your Money in Retirement, along with a couple of worksheets to help give you more clarity in terms of how well prepared you are. That was retirenowquiz.com, or you can go on our website at 55retire.com.
All right. And there's a link in the show notes to your website, Mark, and it's financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Don't forget to sign up for your free newsletter. Mark, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on, and we will talk to you again real soon.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.